Hi, welcome to ShaktiShots. I am Deepa. I'm the founder and CEO of Journeys from Zinda, a software platform that is all about helping organizations act as one. Now, ShaktiShots, as you know, it is all about a challenge that all of us are facing and a panelist with a secret sauce or a superpower to solve the challenge. Now, today's challenge is really all about managing your career in these crazy times, right? In these crazy times of COVID, where there are too many complex things that are happening around us. And in this kind of scenario, how do you manage your career? Now, the panelist is Ahmed. So he has some really interesting techniques of solving this problem. So Ahmed, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. And so I am an Agile coach and a human systems dynamics professional. I'm currently located in Raleigh, North Carolina, and working in the fintech space. So just happy to share my secret sauce with you guys.
Very cool. So you know what, Ahmed, I was actually in fintech for the longest period of time in my career before I started my entrepreneurship. So you and I have that in common. You and I have talked quite a bit about the models that you work on with with human systems and the other models that you use in your agile coaching, right? And sometimes when I hear those models, my eyes glaze over. But the interesting thing is that a lot of the times, even though those models are meant for organizational behavior and something a little bit more, you would think that it's a little bit more complicated, but it is something that can be used for everybody, even for their own decision making, even for their own career, right? So tell us, Ahmed, how does this kind of a model work in our scenario when, let's say, I'm looking to, figure out really what the pecking order is in Zoom when I can have a conversation with my team, let alone figure out what my career is going to look like.
Absolutely. So you're hitting on all the points. So it does feel complex and complicated, and sometimes it might feel like drinking from a fire hose.
Oh yeah.
But all you need is a mouthful. So all you need is a mouthful, and that means, and also you need to make sure that the fire hose is still running so you can get another sip. And that's the way to approach this. There are 21 models and methods in human systems dynamics, which is now 32 years old. So it's nothing new. And there is application anywhere where you need questions, or better, you need to find ways to ask better questions and direct your decisions, whether it's individual, for personal development, organizations, diversity, human resources, and where I am, agile software development. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of applicability. And as a agent of change myself, a lot of these times I'm applying these models and methods to myself. And
that's good.
As you learn more confidence, you'll find the models that are more fit for function than other ones.
Cool. I'm excited to learn more.
Absolutely. So why don't I share my deck? And before I do that, let me set the stage. So this is something very, very personal to me. It was a point in time in my career where I felt I was hemmed in, and I needed to make a decision to see if I'm really hitting that growth zone, if I'm challenging myself, how am I growing? And there's a lot of factors to consider. And we need to make better decisions, considering all those factors and not trying to have this perception of control. So let's see what this story plays out as. A lot of times we are in this space, especially with the COVID-19 and the pandemic, is there's a future that we have, and we have possibly a new normal, a blend. There's a possibility of us coexisting with this virus, and how do we make sense of it? So how do we focus on the future for healthy and positive interactions when we can't even control or predict it?
Absolutely. I mean, we don't, the whole social distancing thing, we don't really know how long that's going to last, how long people are going to work from home, right? None of that, right?
Absolutely. And it may come in phases, and we will have some relaxation, and then there may be another spike. We may have to go back to stay at home, which will be advisable. And until a better place comes where we have a vaccine or a better approach, and we may have to run businesses with all those extra checks in place. And we have to go about living our lives. We have to still go about taking care of ourselves and our loved ones. So, and this is useful to even factor that in. it's very simple and it's very complex, but it's not. So there's a little bit of a contradiction because simple and complex actually live in the same space because it's simple, but then we look at all the factors that are making sense to us at the given moment. So what you see here is a simple chart with an x-axis and a y-axis. X-axis is things that are close to certainty and far from certainty. Another way is to look at it, what are things that are more comfortable and less comfortable as you go far away from the origin, from the 0 point. And the y-axis is what do you have close to agreement with and what are you far from agreement in. So in case of me,
Stuff like close to certainty is we are using Zoom for video conference is close to certainty. Far from certainty could be things like how long we have to work from home.
Well, far from certainty, yeah, I think there's a blend of that. Zoom is a tool, and it was not a thing before we started. And I think you shared this with me as well. And it kind of fits into the HSD language where we're all in different boats, but we're all in the same storm.
Yep.
So you have to look at that as well. So Zoom definitely, with more people using the Zoom and everybody on Zoom is kind of the main thing. It's almost hard to find somebody not on Zoom.
Right.
People are having birthday parties on Zoom. People are having dinners on Zoom, right? So it's like, so I would say that there's an element of that exists in that practice that is very close to familiarity now. But that was not the case when we started. Many people, many did not even know. So it actually moved. And you have to understand things move in this landscape as well. So let's bring it back to the professional development or career situation that I had in my own life. Would that be a good opportunity?
Well, that's perfect. Yeah.
So things that would be, yes, absolutely. So things that are close to agreement is like, all right, the thing I want to work on, the opportunities that I have in front of me, are they the same? Or is there a gap in between? And if I start to see more and more gaps of what I want to be and what I'm doing, then I will start to move on the y-axis very high because I'm far from agreement. And certainty, well, what are the type of work I'm doing? Is it the same? I can have that done with my eyes closed versus things that I don't even know versus things that are way out of my ability, right? So how do I blend that in? So let's look at what happened with me. So I was very much in the lower left corner where I was coaching teams, same things day in, day out, Scrum 101. I could probably do much of this with my eyes closed. And I did not feel challenged. I was like, this kind of invites boredom as well, right? Same, good at it, but same, right? And sometimes you need that. But I was looking for opportunities. Well, how do I challenge myself? One of my colleagues shared that there's a global rotation program that, that they've benefited from and I could apply for. I did apply for it and I found out that they required a number of years with the company before they approve you to you. So there was a part of uncertainty built into this. And is that really something I want to go? So it was kind of like, I'm not sure. There's a lot of unsureness with me as well. As I started to apply and I said, well, what's the worst that can happen? They could reject me, right? But I applied. So I did. And that moved me in the landscape diagram a little further away from certainty, a little further away from agreement. And it just happened so that the 3-month assignment got approved. Now, my family also said like, well, what are we going to be doing for the 3 months? And what are the other opportunities? So I poked around and I found out that there is precedent of people taking their families with them too in the global rotation. And in my case, I was actually going to China for 3 months. So that was—
This is way before COVID, I assume.
It was before COVID, right? Actually, one of my friends came back right before COVID too. But this was the circumstance given at that time. And now our decisions are part of, awareness of that COVID. So I don't think the usefulness is still there, but the parameters will keep on changing.
Absolutely, yeah.
So my family asked for it. I seeked around and I found out that the company will pay for my expenses, but not my family, but there's a process to go for it and there's no guarantees, right? And then also I have to worry about school because this was before summer vacation. School was still in session. And I have to worry about, my rental agreements. What am I doing for 3 months? I mean, 3 months is not a short time. So I ended up with all those factors. Now I have to worry about not just myself, in a foreign land with foreign language, but I have to worry about my kids and their safety and all these things and all this extra process. It definitely took me to a place where I was completely out of my element.
Mm.
And, as I go in there, there was benefits in there. There were benefits I saw with my own eyes. For example, I got to interact with 60 teams that I would never had a chance to interact with. I coached the coaches on the ground. I kind of became more fluent in living in those conditions, working with an environment where I don't even understand the language. I saw my kids gain years of experience in 3 months. I mean, they became much more wiser from this one experience. And part of this is you have to understand that you don't want to live in this very, very different environment for too long. And you do want to come back. But these 3 months was was a capstone for me for that year. It built that energy for me that brought me back as I came back to be more powerful and more useful and feeling better about my own career. So there's labels for all these zones. The zone that is very close to certainty and agreement is called stable. The one that is further away is called emergent. And that's where a lot of people who are in agile, people who are dealing with change management, people are dealing with humans, and a lot of factors in COVID-19 will be emergent. I would argue that COVID probably was in an unstable zone where everybody just said, like, we're locking down. But now we're making sense of it. So it's kind of moving back into the emergent zone where we can live with it. So this is a very simple tool that I invite you. And the reason why these human systems dynamics method and models are so powerful, because they hold you in inquiry. Now, inquiry is like asking the right type of questions. Remember, in a complex system, an answer has a very short shelf life, but a good question can last forever. So how do we stand in inquiry longer? How do we turn judgment into curiosity? How do we turn collaboratively disagreement into shared exploration, and defending and just arguing into self-reflection, and turning our assumptions into questions? So I invite you to go look at the human systems dynamics. And also, I do blog about these things on my own website. So happy to answer any questions. But this is kind of the story from my own life that I wanted to share with you.
Gotcha. Can you go back to the previous slide, Ahmed?
Sure.
So something like the stable is typically when you have operational processes that is in the stable kind of realm, right?
Absolutely.
And the emergent is anytime there is something new that is coming up where things have to, you have to change to make things happen. That is emergent, and this is unstable, right? The unstable is basically, okay, a new acquisition. That is like unstable. It's like we have no idea what's going to happen. So now if you convert this into a career, stable is you have a job, you know it really well. Like you said, you can do it with your eyes closed. That is stable. Emergent is what? Emergent would be what?
So stable is good and bad, right? So there's a little bit of thought process there. So just like, running the business, for example, or, I'm comfortable with, but this is not where growth happens.
Right.
And from an organizational point of view now, so I'm an agile coach, so I deal with Scrum and, agile teams. So sometimes I tell them that Scrum is not the right answer for them. Because I'm a Scrum expert, and I'll tell them that I don't know how to make it work in every single situation where there's no product development. And for them to tell them, no, you need to move. So that's ill-advised. So there are places where stable makes sense. From your own career point of view, we are all stuck in our comfort zones. But sometimes we need to move that comfort zone out to really realize our big potential. And you have to go where, emergent, where there's some patterns, where there's no answers. Unstable, a lot of times there is no patterns at all, but that's where all that energy is. And, you don't want to live in unstable, but you do want to go fetch out. Another example would be like, say a construction of a house. You want, the same house you built many times as a construction company. That's probably in a stable zone. Whereas emergent is, well, we're exploring better ways of doing things, right? That's emergent. And lean startup, it probably things like, are completely unknown. Right. That is an unstable. But, from starting up to scaling up, all startups also go from, unstable, they need to come to emergent and stable, where they were a pirate ship, now they need to be an organized navy, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm going through the same, going through the same journey myself, going
Yeah.
from, from all of these stages, because basically stable is where probably the productivity is the highest, right? I mean, it's like you can be on um, like a machine where
Yeah.
you can just keep producing better and better and better, right? This is probably where the process efficiency is, but not where innovation is.
So I think I like that, but I don't like the analogy of a machine, because humans are very, very complex. And, this
True.
goes back to that machines and cogs in a machine.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Not
Uh-huh.
necessarily, but
Yeah,
say somebody, they can, cook 500 cupcakes in a weekend,
right.
right? And, they're making more and more. Sure, that's
Hmm.
quantity,
Hmm.
but
Yeah.
now they figure out a recipe to make that even more delicious. But they
Uh-huh.
can't only do a 500 run in the first time,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So that's where the opportunity. Sometimes quantity matter, because that's what the customers want, and
Exactly. Yeah. Uh-huh.
getting the better dishes are, or maybe nut allergies. Like, how do we address that problem, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yes. So there's a little bit of a dance here. Yep.
It's actually very fascinating to see, again, this is what I was saying earlier, where you talk about all of these concepts and models, but the same model applies to career, the same model applies to team dynamics, it applies to productivity, it applies to companies, right? The same model, it is fascinating how it applies to various kind of scenarios, and you can apply the same principles to really come
Absolutely.
back from wherever you are to where you want to be.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love how you captured it. And I'm going to stop sharing, if that's okay.
Absolutely, absolutely. So this was awesome, Emma. Thank you so much. This was very helpful to understand. I think we started off saying, "Hey, what do we do about the career?" But I think this goes beyond the career. You can apply
Absolutely,
it
it
to
does.
your career. You can apply it to your teams, right? Even to your business. So I did
Absolutely.
learn quite a few things that I can take and apply to my business as well. So thank you so much. And we are going to challenge the audience out there to see, are you facing the same issue where do you know what zone you're in? Are you in a stable, emergent, or an unstable zone? And do you know what you need to do to get from that zone to where you need to be? That would be your challenge. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ahmed. This is it. This was the Shakti Shot for today.
Thank you for
Bye.
having me. Thank you. Bye.